Hello, everybody, and welcome to a Vintage Cube Draft. We're in the midst of a solid trophy race here, 17 currently. If we trophy this league, we will take our spot atop the leaderboard, so hopefully we can make that happen, and I'll see you in the draft. Pretty solid pack to start. Do not mind leading on a time walk here. I think there's a case to be made that is the best card in the entire format. Maybe not, because blue is no longer clearly the best card, but I think this is now better than Ancestral, I would say, and a great card to first pick as well because you can build with it in mind. Cards like either Tameo, I guess, but especially one mana Tameo that let you return it from your graveyard, go up in value, perhaps Eternal Witness as well. Outside of that, passing Dak Faden, which pushes me a little bit away from going into blue red. This is likely to be taken pretty quickly, but yeah, we'll take the time walk and be very happy about it. All right, I think I'm just gonna take a Scalding Tarn here. The best card is probably Pyroglyph, and we could just take it. I also think it plays pretty well with Time Walk. It is a 6 mana play, but if you go like Pyroglyph, Time Walk, dome them for a lot of damage, untap, attack for a bunch, you can just win the game out of nowhere. But having passed the Dak Faden, we could fight someone for blue red, that's fine. But I think I'm just gonna take the fetch land. It is good, but it's not like so otherworldly good that I'm just gonna take it and really force it to make it work. Shorikai is interesting. I do think blue white is a solid color combination, of course, and that is a card that does wheel sometimes, so we'll keep our eye out for that. But I'm just gonna take the Scalding Tarn. Whoa, so Time Twister and Echo Vions is pretty interesting. There's also Zagoth Triome. I think those are, Time Twister and Zagoth Triome are the two main considerations. There's a spot where, Fatal Push is pretty good. Like, there's cards in this pack that we'd be fine playing, but nothing that's high enough in power level that I want to commit to a second color. I think I will take the Time Twister, honestly. I mean, it's very strong in the right build. It's a little unfortunate to pass Zagoth Triome because this is a good color combination to be in when you're playing Time Twister decks because you get access to like Orcish Bowmasters, Shieldred, Leovold, in addition to Hullbreacher and Narset. But yeah, I'll take this. Echo Vions may or may not wield, probably won't, honestly, but Time Twister is super powerful. And technically, it is part of the Power 9, so now we do have two pieces of power, even if this is not quite as well known as the others. There's Baraglyph. So, could have taken Pyroglyph and Baraglyph, which work pretty well together, of course. I think I'm just going to take Rafine's Tower, though. Good land. If Shorikai wheels and No More Lies wheels, we can just go into blue-white and perhaps not even play the Time Twister. Or if we find the Orc and the Shieldred, then we're set up with black as well. Baraglyph is good, but I don't think it's a card that I need to take over the black fixing here. Good start, for sure. Wow, okay, so I love fetch lands when we, this finds Rafine's Tower, so this is a consideration. But I think I'm going to take an Ajani here. Ajani is very, very strong. Doesn't normally go 5th pick. It is, of course, better if you're playing red as well. But even if you're not, still a very strong card. Brain Surge is good, Fetch is good. But yeah, I think we do just take Ajani here. White is looking pretty open. Blue-white is looking pretty open. I'm hoping that Shorikai and No More Lies come around. But I'll take the Ajani pretty happily here. Couple solid picks here. We could take Overlord of the Mistmoors, which is a strong card. There's also Rogran Triumph. It sets us up with red mana for Johnny. But I think I'm actually going to take a Spellseeker here. It finds Time Walk already, so that makes it significantly better. This is a card, if you play this to find like a Braid or Duress, it's fine. It's not bad, but it's not that exciting. However, for using it to find Time Walk, it goes up in value a lot, and especially if we do end up building around this, with Snapcaster Mage and that sort of thing, I think Spellseeker is a pretty nice card to have access to. So we'll take that. Acknowledging that Rogran Triumph is tempting. I think Jeskai would be a nice direction to go here, but we'll take that. Alright, this pack is a little worse. I'm not too interested in Adeline or Cosmogrand Zenith. They're good in some builds, but this is not like looking like a particularly aggressive or token-oriented build. We could just take that and potentially go into that direction. But I think I'm going to take a Watery Grave here. We already have a Fiend's Tower. We don't have any black cards yet, but I think just having access to black mana is pretty nice. I like taking lands early, and then it means just, if we're in 3 colors, then 60% of good cards we can be taking in packs 2 and 3, which is a good place to be. Okay, I think I'm going to take a Staff of the Storyteller here. Not a bad pickup. I don't really care about the Squadron. There's Spirebluff Canal, which is fine. But Staff is nice. It's a card also that it's nice to take early and build with it in mind. It goes well with the Johnny so far. If you could find stuff like Lingering Souls, that would be awesome. Yeah, nice pickup. Ooh, okay. There's Eagles of the North, but I think I like taking Glimmerlens here. It is another card that works well with Staff because it makes a token, and it works really well with Johnny because it makes a red token specifically. So this is a way that we could have, make a Johnny. I think this and Figure of Destiny are both cards. It's not like a crazy difference, but they go up in value a little bit once you have a Johnny because they're ways to have a red token in play without actually playing red. If I didn't have that synergy, I would probably take Eagles of the North, but our fixing is looking pretty solid, and this is nice. And there's Shorikai. Okay, so blue-white looks open. Great that this wheeled, both because it's a good card, plays well in our deck, making tokens, and also is just from a signaling perspective, blue-white appears to be pretty open. I think I'll take a Thraben Inspector. Vindicate is good. It is quite good, actually. It's very tempting to take this, but I like keeping the curve down. We already have a lot of 2s and 3s. Probably not playing Time Twister in this build, but yeah, we'll take the Thraben Inspector. Now we see Mana Tithe. A Cold Epiphany is fine. It does make tokens, but I think Thraben Inspector is better. Same thing as before. Like, when in doubt, take the cheaper card. It's generally a good place to be. All right, Enduring Innocence. It may or may not be good. It depends on our build, but actually it is looking pretty good so far. I'll take it. Overlord of Mistmores. Wow, so white looks super open. A little weird that Shorikai wheeled, but No More Lies didn't. White is definitely more open than blue, but this looks great. We have access to a lot of card draw. We have Time Walk with that Spellseeker to find it. Cheap creatures that clog up the board. So overall, very good first pack. Also good fixing. The number one thing I'm worried about is the lack of removal, but we can get there. So there's Narset. That is, of course, a combo with Time Twister. However, that's not really the direction we've developed towards. It could be a good pick, but I think I like just taking Caracas here. I would take Narset over, Elspeth or Copter, like something that's solid. But this is secretly like one of the best cards in the format. I don't actually know what percentage of creatures are legendary at this point, but it goes up every year. I mean, this year, this pack doesn't have many legends, but just a phenomenal card. Very, very strong. It's also pretty nice with a Johnny. It makes our Johnny essentially unkillable, and in the late game, you can just bounce your Johnny, replay it, bounce it, replay it, and keep making more tokens. This is a card I'm looking at on the wheel. It's not a card that I think is good in every build, but this where we have a lot of tokens, and I think this is the kind of deck where Elspeth could shine. But let's just take the Caracas for now, very happily. Ooh, baby. Oh, ugh. I was about to just slam the Teferi, and I still might, but Tameo is so good, and we have Time Walk already. Whew. I don't think Teferi wheels. This is like a very, very hard pick. Not many things I would take over Teferi, but I think Tameo might actually be one of the few cards that is even better. Yeah, I mean, Tameo is just so good. I'm going to take it. Pains me to pass this, though, and if it wheels, we will shout for joy. So there's a Volcanic Island if we want to splash. There's also Jace, which is fine, but worse than it once was. Could take like Infernal Grasp or Concealed Courtyard to set up the possible Black Splash, but I think I'll just take Winds of Abandon. Nice removal spell. It's our first removal spell. It's also a board sweeper that we can find off of Spellseeker, which is kind of nice. Yeah, I'll take this. Okay, interesting. So there's Voice of Victory, which is another card that makes red tokens for a Johnny, and just like synergizes well with a lot of our token synergies. But I think I'm still not going to take it. I think I'm going to take Force of Negation. As good as Voice of Victory would be in this deck, a little bit of counter magic will go a long way. And it also could wheel. If we'll probably wheel one of the two white cards, and either one would be good in this deck. So that's pretty nice, but let's take the Force. Now we see... How good is Plagon? This is a card that has really impressed me in some builds. We have Thraben Inspector, Tameo, and a Johnny. That's not great. It's not bad. There's also Fabled Passage and Council's Judgment. I think I'm going to take the Council's Judgment and hope to wheel one of the 3 blue cards, because all 3 of them are pretty good. Plagon's also really nice with Caracas. Probably not playing black. But yeah, we'll take the Council's Judgment, which is a great interactive spell, and then hopefully wheel one of those blue cards. Now I'm going to take an Odawara. We're going to have a million playables. Like, Jackrabbit would be fine. This card would maybe be fine. I don't really understand it, but it's the advantage of this over our 23rd spell is going to be not that big. The advantage of this over a basic island is pretty huge, so happy to take an Odawara. Not too high on Cryptic Command. It's good in some builds, but hard to cast, and it's just a little clunky. I'm not a Thalia deck either, so I'm going to take Ghost Vacuum as a sideboard card. Not a main deck thing, but this will be the best card in our deck in certain matchups, and I think there's just enough graveyard decks that's a nice pickup. Ooh, Stern Scolding versus Portable Hole. Close pick. I think Portable Hole is a little bit better. They both, of course, have their moments where they shine. I do like having blue cards for Force of Negation, and also a thing to find the Spellseeker. But I think the I mean, they're both cheap interaction, but the removal is probably a little better. What pushes me over the top is this is kind of a good head for being on the draw. If you're on the play, Stern Scolding's great, but if you're on the draw, like they play turn 1 Ragavan, then you like play Island Go holding up Stern Scolding. It's kind of embarrassing. Okay, this was, I believe, was this the Teferi pack? It might have been. Or maybe it was the next one. But Smuggler's Copter is, I think, fine. We have a reasonably high creature count. Awkward that Tamio can't accrue it. We could also take Snuff Out, actually. Wait a second. Is Snuff Out just pretty nice here? Yeah, Copter's fine. I'm not guaranteed to play this, but it's much, much better than Copter if we are playing black. And we have a couple black lands. So let's take this and speculatively and see where we end up. Sadly, Teferi did not wheel. Unsurprising. We're not a Gadget tier deck. I'll take a Static Prison. It's not a card I always play, but it can be good, especially if you have other ways to make energy, like Guide of Souls, which we would probably play. That's maybe. Now we see Infernal Grasp and Concealed Courtyard. Infernal Grasp is a pretty nice removal spell, but I think we need to take the black land before the black spell here. It is a little awkward that this isn't a swamp, so it doesn't let us cast Snuff Out for free, but it's still a good pickup. Nice. Voice and Touch the Spirit Realm both wheeled. Let's see. Voice. I do like the removal spell, but I'm going to take this with the Ajani synergy being what puts me over the top. Plague on Wield. Nice. That also makes the Voice of Victory look a little bit better. That's actually a really sweet late pickup. Thought Scour, probably not a card we're going to play, but I'll take it. And then Third Path Iconoclast. Okay, so we got a bit of removal. Portable Hold, Static Prison, this, Snuff Out maybe. But I do still want more, so Swords to Plowshares would be great. I think we just take a fetch here. Cathar Commando is good. Balance, not really a good deck for balance. Lose Focus is okay. But this is kind of a tap-out style deck. We don't have any instant speed plays. Like, there's a build of Blue-White where you have Malcolm and Cathar Commando and Felia, and then you hold up Counter Magic and also instant speed threats, which is great. All our threats here are sorcery speed. So, insofar as we have Counter Magic, it's like Force of Negation. This is more of like a tap-out style deck where you also have just free interaction. So, as good as Lose Focus would be, let's take the Flooded Strand. Now there's Ponder versus Giver of Runes. I do like Ponder a lot, but in this deck, Giver of Runes is better. We're not super heavy on creatures, but we have a reasonable amount, and Giver of Runes makes all your creatures much, much more powerful. Toxic Deluge would be a good sideboard card, but let's take the creature. I do love me a Flage, but I think it's too late to try to make that work. Let's just take Skyclave Apparition, which is a great pickup. It's removal. It's also a cheap creature that triggers Enduring Innocence and is just a all-around strong card. Talisman of Progress, I would maybe play if it comes around, but yeah, let's take the Skyclave. Now we see... We're not a Grief deck. We could maybe be a Sorin deck. Do we have life gain? Not much. Unexpectedly Absent would be good, but I think I would rather take the Blackbone Verge here. We're going to have a million playables, just fortifying the mana base a bit. We're not really playing black. We just have this one Snuff Out. Let's actually think. Do we want to just not play black? Then we have, a very good mana base. Unexpectedly Absent is a solid removal spell. There's also Agatha Soul Cauldron as a sideboard card. Yeah, I'm going to take this. I don't think Blackbone Verge is that good. We don't really need to be playing Snuff Out now that we're getting a little bit more removal. We also didn't get other black cards. It would be one thing if we're, if we had 3 black spot removal spells and we were splashing for that, that's one thing, but that's not the case here. And now we do see, Baleful Strix, but let's just take a Path and be streamlined, but also still adding to our removal suite. Kits is fine, but I think Path is where we want to be here. And we'll just be streamlined blue-white. And sad that we didn't get the Teferi and that we didn't get the No More Lies, but this deck does look really, really good. Oh, wow. Mother of Runes versus Colonnade in the same pack. That's a really close pick. Mother of Runes is excellent, but same thing where lands are going to be a huge value add here. And Colonnade in particular is a really, really good land. I would take Mother of Runes over a Tundra, or over just a normal land, but I think Colonnade is worth taking here. It's close. But yeah, I'm going to take this. And then no chance this comes around, but we can maybe wheel Virtue of Loyalty. Let me know. And that though, that's a controversial pick for sure. Ooh, Lingering Souls. That's interesting. I'm going to take that. And we can play it even... Yeah, I think that is... Now we play these lands for sure. And now I might also play Snuff Out. We'll see how many black sources we end up with. But that's a really good pickup. I'm very happy to see the Souls. Bombardment, Gut, Red looking pretty nice here. This is a pretty weak pack. Luminarch Aspirant's fine, but not that exciting. This is also fine. I think I'm gonna take this speculatively. Not gonna play it in the main deck, but there could be some applications for it in certain matchups. Deck looks really good. No power. Well, no, we have Time Walk, so we do have power. No fast mana, but just good curve, streamlined, lots of cheap threats and card draw. All right, Qatar Commando is a good late pickup. We didn't have any good ways to kill artifacts and enchantments before, so I will take that. Ponder Wield, which is solid for consistency and also a blue card for force. But I think we just take the Lion Sash as a good piece of sideboard hate in this situation where, we're already going to have to make some tough cuts. So we'll take the card that, instead of the card that's always fine, we'll take the card that's occasionally great. Displacer Kitten is not good in this build. If we had Teferi, maybe. I'll take the Oculus. I don't think we play it, at least in the main deck, but it's fine in certain matchups. Now I'll take another land. That's solid. Adama is fine. Okay, yeah. I mean, white is super open, for sure. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 black sources, including 5 swamps. So I think that means Snuff Out is almost free. We can do that for sure. Then we need to make a bunch of cuts. I think I'm going to cut Static Prison with no other ways to make energy. This is also a sort of slow deck, so we can't necessarily close out the game quickly enough to make that good. Enduring Innocence is a little slow, and we have other forms of card draw. I do think I want the Virtue of Loyalty, which just plays really well with a lot of our things. We could maybe cut the Overlord, but it's so good. It's expensive, but it's good. Same with Shorikai. I do think I want all the removal. I like all my creatures that have more toughness than power because of the Plague On. I think I want to keep the Glimmer Lens. We could play 16 lands in this deck with a pretty low curve and very good fixing. So we need to make one more cut. This is tough. I think Staff of the Storyteller is great. Spellseeker looks really good with Time Walk. Maybe it's Atomite. This card's pretty good, but it's not particularly synergistic in this deck. It's just a nice cheap threat, and we don't have counter magic, so the flash is a little less relevant. I'd rather Cathar Commando, which is interactive. Yeah, I think we'll do it like this. Interesting. I wouldn't expect it to be that skewed. Let's see how this looks. Oh, we can add one more planes. So this gives us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 blue sources, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 white sources. Looks pretty perfect, and plenty of black as well. So I'll run it like this, play in some blue-white, or white-blue really, splashing a little bit of black. This deck looks amazing, and I will see you in round 1. On the draw for round 1 with no white mana. I think this hand is still worth keeping, especially on the draw. Yeah, I'll keep it. I mean, if we draw any land, we can play Plague On. A good chance we can find something from there. We also have Time Walk, our best card. If we find a white source, then this hand is perfect. Let's get a Plains off the top here. We have 12 white sources in the deck. Not a source on top. Spellseeker was a pretty horrendous draw, too. So we already have the Time Walk in hand. Yeah, that was probably one of the worst possible, actually. Maybe a double white card would be worse. Ooh, okay. We might be going to game 2 pretty quickly here. Turn to the One Ring. Imagine if we had Mana tied up. There's a chance that they just die to the One Ring plus Mana Crypt. These both deal damage to them. I think we need to just go Desperation Time Walk. I really don't like to Time Walk on turn 2, but it's really bad. Yeah, I think we have to go for it. Plains. Oh, brutal. Well, I guess we need to just hope they lose to themselves. These Mana Crypt flips are going to be very important. Time Walk was just straight up a cycler there. It was worse than a Ponder. A lot worse. Ponder would have been 100 times better there. So hopefully they lose this flip. We really need them to lose themselves here. Yep, down to 16. That's good. Next turn they're going to 14, hopefully 11. And we can put up some pressure. I mean, we can. If they dealt themselves 12 damage, we could maybe get the last 8. What we really don't want to see is quick clock or life gain. Hopefully they just have like slow value stuff, like Glimmerlands. That's honestly exactly what we want them to have here. That's fine. Can we please draw land? Brutal. I'm not going to show them that we're playing white. I'm going to discard Spellseeker. Very hard to... I mean, if they just lose all their flips, come on. Nice. Oh, wait, no, they won that one. They just took damage from the One Ring. Well, pretty anemic first draw here. We could have mulliganed, of course. I think it still was a keep. I mean, unlucky, of course, to brick 4 turns in a row. Or 3 turns in a row, I guess. No, yeah, it is 4 turns. Okay, I'm just gonna concede. This is mental health concession. Sometimes you just need to move on. So they're playing Boros. Let's bring in Enduring Innocence, which is nice. Like the life gain is relevant here. What do we cut? I think I'll cut Voice of Victory. That's not really good on defense, and we're clearly the defender here. And then we'll run it back and really, really hope that never happens again. I don't really get this card. Like, is there a combo with it, or is it just supposed to be like a sort of mediocre interactive card? A little unclear. Okay, this is fine. We can keep it. Flagon will draw 2, which is nice. Or at least it might. Likely just grabbing the Triome here on turn 2. The art on this card is so wild. Okay, Figure of Destiny is totally fine. Hopefully they put a bunch of mana into that and then we can Skyclave. Ooh, okay. Let's play that. Not only is that a great card that curves out well, but it's another card for the Plagon too. Now, there's some tension between, like, basically, do we want to, assuming we don't draw land, do we fetch an island, which means we don't have a swamp, and then play Plagon? Or do we play Odawara? I think I'll fetch an island. It means Snuff Out would be a little bit worse, but we can just hardcast it still. We still have black mana, and there's a good chance we want to use the Odawara to bounce something. We could even go for a nice value play, like, bounce our own Plagon, replay it, draw 3 more, and it costs only 2 to use the Odawara when we have Plagon in play because we have 2 legends. This is more what this deck is trying to do, like, clog up the board with powerful cheap threats, draw a bunch of cards, and just dominate the opponent. Sure. I will give this protection from red in response. Now we only get to draw 2, but that is fine. Still going to play that over Skyclave. We don't really care about this that much. Now I'll just send in, I guess. Caracas was another excellent draw. If they don't do anything, I might just Caracas, bounce, Plagon, replay it. They do find the land, though. So we'll see what their 4-drop is. Just the One Ring again. The Wandering Emperor, main phase to take out a Johnny. Makes sense. So, good draw. With that draw, now let's just go Unexpectedly Absent, put this back on top. Then attack the Wandering Emperor, take it down, play the staff, and pass turn. Game continuing to go quite well for us. Every exchange has just favored us pretty drastically. Like Johnny left this guy behind, get lost, gave us these 2 tokens. Plagon's drawing cards, Staff is drawing cards. Jackrabbit is very good, easy to trade off with Skyclave here. I do want to find a land. Let's map onto our flyer. Graveyard that. I guess I'll just play the Odawara, especially since we have the Caracas now. Yeah, let's just play land. Play Skyclave Apparition taking out their rabbit. And then I'll attack for these. I'm going to hold up the... like, we could attack with Plague on 2 and push 3 damage. But that would mean we have to tap the Caracas. I think I'd rather hold up Path / Caracas and then plan on most likely using Staff for the Storyteller. The next turn we can play Glimmerlands to get another counter on the Staff. This has been a very satisfying game where, like, pretty much every exchange is like a 2-for-1 or like a 1.5-for-1. We're just snowballing a little bit more value each turn. I prefer this kind of game to the games where you just go like turn 1 land Mox, or like land Black Lotus, Minskin Boo, and you just play 1 threat that wins on its own. Where like each exchange is slightly positive. That's my preferred way to get ahead. Okay, so I don't even know what they're targeting with this. We could bounce our Plagon. We could do a few things. I think I'm just going to draw a card of the Staff, and then they can take out whatever they want. But like everything we've played has already given us value. They go for the Skyclave, sure. I think that actually also... Oh no, it doesn't put a Staff on this. Whenever you create 1 or more creature token... I thought we did create this. But maybe it only works under our control. So let us play land, Glimmerlands, put a counter on the thing. Draw a card. Overlord is a nice pickup too. Let's map onto our flyer again. Spellseeker, that is a great draw. Play Tameo, and then we'll just attack. I'll say I will send in the Plague on 2 here. Tapping it means Caracas is no longer available, but they're low enough and they have Ancient Tomb where pushing 3 extra damage is pretty relevant, I think. So yeah, take 6, go to 5, we kill one of their creatures, and then like I guess balance is their way back into this, but we can rebuild really well with like, you know, Time Walk, Overlord, all this stuff. Wow, tale of 2 games. This is so different from game 1. We're on the draw, that does it scarier. Do we want to make any changes? Like Static Prison could be okay just as a roadblock. I think we just want to run it back though. Yeah, I'll just click submit. Alright, on the draw here unfortunately, but with an excellent hand. We got our colors, we got a good curve, we got our best card. Even have an interactive spell if they have something scary like a turn 1 Mother of Runes, but Figure of Destiny is totally fine. It's always interesting when you want to lead on Caracas versus a Plains. I think I'm going to lead on just Plains here because say they have 2 creatures, like they have Thalia and Glimmerlands. I would much, much rather them play Thalia and then we just like get them with this. I would play Caracas if I had like a tap land that I was planning to play next turn. But we're not going to do that. We're planning on curving out and playing the Glimmerlands here. Tarfire might give her, sure. And then put the counter on this. Just gonna play Caracas Glimmerlands, I think. Or Maybe Odawara? No, I'll play Caracas. We'll save this because we might want to still end up cycling it. And I'm gonna play Glimmerlands before over Virtue of Loyalty here. There's a spot where like it's kind of similar, but we could maybe trick them with this, and I don't think we can like. It's unlikely we would be able to ambush the Figure of Destiny that effectively. I will trade if they attack without having a third land, but they're likely going to play land first. I guess the perk of playing Virtue of Loyalty first is the Vigilance. We get to hit for 2 and still leave it back. Okay, that's a good exchange for us. Now I think we're just going to play Rafine's Tower and pass with Virtue of Loyalty up. Would love to, like, we don't have any card draw right now. These are all fine exchanges for us, but it would be nice to find some way to actively pull ahead. Now, if they attack with the Figure of Destiny, we can't really block unless they play something pre-combat. Yeah, they just swing, so we'll take the 2. And pretty happy if they sink mana into this. Yeah, this is a good exchange for us. I mean, we'll take the 4 damage this turn. We go to 12, but that's still kind of healthy, and we have multiple good ways to deal with this. Okay. Portable Hole or Skyclave Apparition. Kind of close. I think I will play Skyclave here. It can hit bigger stuff. Maybe that's enough of a reason to hold it actually. You know what? Yeah, let's just Portable Hold this thing, save this to hit something bigger. Because we don't have that much removal in our deck, and so like if they just play Adeline here and we're holding the Portable Hole, it looks pretty dumb. And then I'm going to just equip the Glimmer Lens to this and pass with Caracas up. And then our plan is, I love the idea of sequencing like Time Walk, Skyclave, because then we get to also draw an extra card off the Glimmer Lens. So we're really hoping that they don't kill this. They just play out like Adeline, like I said, would be perfect. And we can take out their Adeline, develop the board, take an extra turn, attack for 4, draw a card. Like that's just a really good big swing. Good Time Walk turn. Okay, I'm just gonna Caracas this rather than blocking. I guess technically let's see. I'll declare this as a blocker, and then Caracas is really, really unlikely to matter. Maybe there's actually even no way, but. Alright, that's awesome. Although the problem is now we can't really play Skyclave profitably. So instead we will just jam this. And now, like, if they have a removal spell, they could go, like, Chain Lightning your guy, then Dash Ragavan and get a hit in, but that's fine. It's just, I mean, the alternative is just not play our 5-drop so that we can hold up Caracas, and that's way too conservative. So hopefully they play something that we can Skyclave here. They Dash Ragavan again. We have a 3/3, though, so they might have, like, Monstrous Rage or something. I will block. Just do nothing. Okay. Dash Ragavan, don't attack. Man. So we could almost get aggressive here. Like, if we just play Skyclave, don't even target anything. Hit for 3, they go to 11. Trigger, play Time Walk. Trigger Virtue of Loyalty. And then we have 7 power. I think it's still just better to be conservative here. Or like, there's just no reason to rush it. However, we do have lethal now, so like next turn we can go for that line if they're tapped out. Pretty anemic draw from the opponent here. Whoa. Okay. Loran of the Third Path. Alright, let's see what they target with this. We could bounce it back to our hand if we want to. Yeah, I think it is worth it to do this. And then if they tap lower, we could potentially just go for the kill. They might just play Ragavan on defense here. Oh, okay. That is fine. But now we don't have the kill anymore. I assume they're naming the Knight token. Yeah. Okay, this is a solid sequence for them. We do get a window for Skyclave Apparition. If we draw another creature that costs... If we draw a 1-drop, like Thraben Inspector, then that would be awesome. We don't. Okay, let's just cast our Skyclave, taking out the Figure of Destiny. Do we just jam the Time Walk here? I'm gonna wait another turn. It's like weird to be holding this for so long, but I really want to like essentially win when we play the Time Walk. If we play Time Walk and then we just get to like, you know, attack them for 3, but we top deck a land, like we're not even that far ahead. This way we get to pass with Force of Negation up to protect our Skyclave. The 3/3 blocks their Loran and their Ragavan pretty well. They also just have to deal with this Mana Vault. Did they lose it? Yes. It would be pretty. We might end up winning this game without casting Time Walk. Um, but that's fine. There's an old principle they used to say in Legacy where ideally you win holding Force of Will in your hand, and you like were very cautious with it. You didn't just like blow it the first chance you got. You were like waiting until you really needed it, and then you end up never needing it. But like that is a good way to play. Conversely, there's some games where you have Force of Will and you don't force it, and then you end up losing to the thing you didn't counter, and you're like, well, you know, that doesn't feel great. I don't think that'll happen this game though. They attack. I will certainly block. They just pass. Alright, let's untap. Plains, man, we're we're flooding out pretty hard here, but still seems like we're in a good spot. We'll equip just because. Attack for 3. If they had 1 less life, we could go for the kill here. We still could go for the like kind of kill or make it so they have to win the Mana Crypt flip. Okay, Force of Negation. If they have Reprieve, it's pretty awkward. They luckily do not. I think we do fire off the Time Walk now. Yeah, let's play this. They're at 5. We get to attack again. Could bounce the Loran to get it to make sure we get in for the damage. Ooh, that's a good draw. Oh, especially with the Virtue of Loyalty. Okay, nice. I'm not going to block the Loran. If they want to chump block, that is... Or I'm not going to bounce the Loran because I don't want to lose the Virtue of Loyalty. Sure. And let's just play out all our stuff. If they have a board sweeper, it's kind of bad. Actually, maybe I'll leave Lingering Souls in the graveyard here. Yeah, I'll play around. It's the sort of thing, I think it's incredibly unlikely that they have balance, but this way, we like if they do, we can, we're still winning. They're down to 2. We're still at 11. They need a board sweeper here. This is a game where we could have won way faster. Like, we could have taken more aggressive lines, and I think we would have honestly won no matter what lines we took there. But that's fine. Like, the goal is not to win quickly. The goal is to win. And so I think it is correct to... I think we played that game pretty well, even though, like, they did nothing and we still didn't win until like, turn 10. Good start. Hoping to climb the rest of this leaderboard. Alas, we were on the draw for round 2. I think I'll keep this. It's heavy on the lands, of course. Ideally, you have like 3 lands, not 5. But we can cycle the Rafine's Tower, and we have a nice curve. Ooh, being on the draw against a Mox never feels good. Alright, our hand lines up fairly well against that start. Play this, pass turn. Like, Mana Tithe maybe be a little awkward. Playing against Boros. Again. Yeah, okay. So we'll play Island and pass with Mana Tithe and Cathar Commando up. We could go for the block and give our thing protection from red. It's a little bit annoying if they have a removal spell. I think it is still the right line, though. If they kill the Giver of Runes now, then okay, dismember. So now that's a good play on their part to sequence it this way. We'll still trade with the Gal, but now it's a trade instead of 0 for 1. Ragavan. Ah, that's annoying. Creature? Ooh, nice. Let's play that. I think I'm just gonna take out the Ragavan. Like we could go for the Mox Jet when they missed the land drop, but good chance that they. Well, maybe we do go for the Mox Jet actually. No, I'm gonna take the Ragavan. Like it just, this card can snowball so quickly. There's just no reason to lose to it totally unnecessarily. Still can't block the Thalia. That's okay. We'll take the 2. Library of Alexandria, not scary at this stage in the game. Ooh, nice draw. That blocks the Tameo and draws cards. Pretty much a perfect draw. And given that draw, I'm actually going to play the Rafine's Tower. I was planning on cycling it before, but now we have a mana sink, so getting the tap land into play is, I think, reasonably solid here. Then we'll pass the Mana Tithe up, which is pretty good against the Thalia. Like, we could counter, like, even if they play land, we could counter an Elspeth or something. Okay, they phase out our Tameo. That's fine. Life total is still pretty high. Library of Alexandria is a pretty scary card. Hopefully they don't have that on turn 1. Beautiful. So now we get to untap and just start drawing cards. I think I'm just going to pass holding up Force of Negation, and if they do nothing, I'm just going to put Thalia on top of their deck, which is essentially a brick. They play their last card. Hopefully this is a non-creature. Oh. Okay, that is annoying. So put it under the top 1 card. You can flip Tameo now. Caracas, solid draw. Let's attack with both. Then I do think we just want to flip. Well, actually, maybe we don't. Would we rather? No, yeah, we should flip Tameo. Because I want to be able to return Unexpectedly Absent and have a good answer to their Glorybringer. Okay, I really hate drawing back-to-back lands there. So bounce your Thalia. Hopefully they break this turn. Nice, just replaying Thalia is what we wanted to see. Yet another land. That is kind of brutal. Grab the Unexpectedly Absent, bounce the Thalia. I'm gonna play an untapped land here, and partially because we can, but I think I'm gonna put the Unexpectedly Absent. I'm gonna put their Glorybringer as deep as possible. Probably playing around Mana Tithe, just because if they leave up the plains at least. Oh, they have to filter mana into this. Yeah, there's no reason to counter this. Their life total is surprisingly low, so we put this into the top 3. That's not quite enough to kill them with this Skyclave Apparition, but we don't need much help. And we should eventually draw some spells. Also, so many of our spells would just snowball really quickly. Like, even a Plagon, we could, like, play it, bounce it, replay it, draw cards. Thraben Inspector also, like, most of our deck, like, cantrips at this point. Ooh, okay. Yeah, let's just do that. And this does tap us out of Force Negation, but I think that's pretty much fine. Hit for 2, pass turn. We can also recur something with Tameo next turn. So they need to top deck something right now. And we're out of range of any, like, Fiery Confluence shenanigans. Fourth Aerlingus, I guess, would be the scary thing. I mean, we have lethal on board. I think I'll just return unexpectedly absent. Alright, nice. So we take down Boros. They have 2 Moxen, which is pretty terrifying. And they also had like turn 1 Landmark Thalia on the play, so pretty awesome that we were able to overcome that. I do think we want to bring in the Enduring Innocence and bring out Voice of Victory, make that same exchange. Any other changes? I mean, Voice of Victory is just a 1-3. Like, both of these are fine for just clogging up the board early. I think everything else in the deck is just a little bit better, honestly. Yeah, we'll run it back like this. Okay, this hand is not great, but it's good enough. It's the sort of thing where, like, if they have Landmark Thalia, it's pretty rough. But I think we still keep it. If they don't have, like, a nut draw, turn 2 removal spell into Skyclave is nice. Really hoping it's not a Ragavan here. Guy of Soul's perfect. Colonnades, fine draw. I'm just gonna, like, I want to keep pace on board here, so I'm definitely gonna to unexpectedly absent something. We'll see. I'll like hold it up in case they tap out for like some. My plan is probably to use this on Giver of Runes. All right, we will take the 1. Of course, not gonna just target this and let them get us with a Giver. Playgun is a good draw. They do have Caracas, but it's still nice value. I think I'm still going to play Enduring Innocence this turn over Skyclave. Good against a removal spell. Like, if they have Mana Tide, I'll take the trade. If they do nothing, that would be great, of course. I guess worse, if they go end of turn Flash Creature, untap, play like replay their Giver, then they would be able to jump their Guide of Souls, which would be kind of annoying. Okay, this is great. Let's play Caracas and cast the Skyclave Apparition, targeting the Giver of Runes. Actually, I'm going to target the Guide of Souls, honestly. I don't really want them to jump anything here. Okay, we draw Tamio, which is kind of a bad draw, given that they have Caracas, actually. Let's attack with this. And pass. And this is looking like a great spot. I mean, we're just up on resources, and our deck is way better suited for the late game. Like, the things we're afraid of are the fast draws with Mox. Like, the long game favors us by a lot. Also, like, what do they even have? That was a good draw. Let's fetch basic island. Then go Tamio. Draw a card. They bounce the Tamio. Then I think I'm just going to replay Tamio, actually. Or do we want to... I mean, we could go for Time Walk or Plagon or replay Tamio. I think I'm going to just replay Tamio. This gives us... like, and then pass and plan on cycling or Fiend's Tower. I'm just going to try to basically strain their Caracas. And this deck is a little risky because they could have a flash threat, but they didn't have it last turn, so I think it's fine. Looks like they do have something, though. It's kind of annoying. Oh, Dismember. That's totally fine. I mean, I guess they do get to block my Enduring Innocence, but that is not too bad. You know, it'll come back. We get to gain life. This is just a fine exchange. We could Council Judgment, take out their Giver of Runes here. I just don't think that is that necessary, though, especially when we have another good use of our mana. So we'll just pass. Now the board does look worse. Like, that was kind of an okay exchange for them, but it's still not bad. Like, we're taking no damage, and our hand is very good. Is this Glorybringer? Oh, Fury. Okay. Against that, we'll certainly just bounce this back to our hand. Less mana efficient than cycling Raffine's Tower, but that's okay. Now we'll go. Ooh, good draw. I think we're going to hold off for now, though. We'll go Tameo, draw a card. Then play Plagon. I'm going to play Time Walk first. This is the card I want to resolve more, so I'll play it before we hold up Mana Tithe. So just to play around Mana Tithe a bit. Then play Plagon. They can bounce the Tameo if they want to. We'll just draw one card. And they concede. Sweet. So really cruise there. I mean, we played against Boros twice. I feel like maybe this is just anecdotal, but recently I've played against Boros a lot. Actually, the last 4 matches I've played have been with against Boros. So building decks that have a good matchup there is helpful. And this is like the perfect deck for playing Boros. Like you're playing all the same white cards, but then you just have you go a little bit bigger with better card draw. I also think green is pretty good against Boros. Weirdly, so like red green. If you just ramp into Sentinel of the Nameless and Questing Beast, those are just bigger, better threats than what they're playing, and they have 4 toughness, so it's kind of hard for them to remove. Those styles of decks have been pretty good for me recently. Let's get that trophy, baby. Take the top of the leaderboard. Sadly, we lost the die roll again in the finals against Marco 888777. Good hand, though. These are not the 2 removal spells you want in your opener necessarily. I really don't want to be ramping them, but I'm still going to keep. I mean, Glimmer Lens into Lingering Souls is a really nice, hard to interact with. It's good against removal. It blocks well, and it also draws cards. Man, being on the draw against Landmarks again. Okay, I mean, that's a good card against our deck. It's kind of slow. Ooh, okay, yeah, let's hold up Mana Tithe for sure. I want to play, among other things, I want to play Mana Tithe before giving them a bunch of lands. Okay, that is fine. I think I'm still just going to play... Oh, interesting. Yeah, we'll play that. And it's weirdly tempting to path my own Threadbane Inspector, but I'm not going to do that, I think. Hopefully there's a 3-drop we can tithe. It's going to be annoying to continue... Oh, what? Okay, so this is going to make his discard down to 3 cards. I'm trying to decide if I want to do anything in response. I think not, so yeah, we'll just say okay. We'll keep Celestial Colonnade. Do we want to keep this Mana Tithe? I want to keep the Glimmer Lens. They're pretty far away from Flage. It's a little... if we discard Path and Winds of Abandon, then it's going to be harder to deal with a Flage. But that's such a late game thing. I just don't know how relevant that is. What's the third? So it's Mana Tithe versus Lingering... Or no, we want to discard Lingering Souls, though. So honestly, let's just keep the Mana Tithe, I think, and discard these 3. Pretty good, though. I mean, 2 mana to discard 3 cards. So I'm going to fetch an island and flashback the Lingering Souls. This kind of signals the Mana Tithe, but I think it is still the right line. That is interesting. And we can regain the Monarchy. But then they can regain it right back, and the GT is going to be a big problem. Weird game. I think getting the Colonnade into play is a pretty high priority here. So let's cast the Glimmer Lens, play this tapped pass, hold up Mana Tithe still, and then our plan is like trade these off, and they can get GTA counters and kill our Spirit token, but we're the Monarch, and hopefully we can just defend that. If they have a removal spell, that would be pretty bad. I mean, if they just tap out for Solitude, that would be awesome with the Mana Tithe. Okay, nice. Or, like, not great, but fine. We accept the trade. Yep. Sure. Alright, I mean, we're the Monarch. Like, resources are fairly even. They have the GTA. They also have Flage in the graveyard, so they have some stuff going. But feels like this is a solid spot for us. Okay, do we just give up on the Mana Tithe at this point? When we have multiple other good stuff to play, I think that is correct. So we'll pass. They can kill us Spirit token if they want to, but we have 2 flyers. Like, it's pretty hard for them to take back the Monarchy. Oh, whoa. That was... I didn't realize we were going to be... I didn't want to flip the Tamio there. Especially in our end step where we can't flip it. That's kind of annoying, but it's fine. Oh, big 4th Air Lingus when we were tapped out of Mana Tithe. Okay, we're going to lose this game now. That is unfortunate. Their deck, it looks great. I mean, Flage, Palace Jailer, 4th Air Lingus, all very, very good cards. And 2 Tamio, 2 at me. They have the GTA to kill the Spirit token. I don't think we can win from this position. Maybe there's like a weird Time Walk sequence that could get there. Come on, play on, draw me Time Walk. And then there's a path to winning if we draw Time Walk, but we don't. I think we are just dead. I mean, maybe we don't need to concede yet necessarily, but what out are we playing to? Play this tap, pass turn. They also have this Flage though. I'm going to concede. I don't think we can win from this position. Should be a solid matchup. I mean, their deck looks very, very good, especially when they draw Mox. For the 3rd match in a row, I'm going to bring this in. I also think I'm going to bring in this. It's not... Well, actually, wait. Mate, do we even want Ghost Vacuum? It's good against Balance, good against Flage, and also just, like, copying their stuff is pretty good. I think I do like it. I like both of these. What are the last cuts? Oh, yeah, we need 2 cuts here. Shorikai is kind of slow, but it's also pretty good, and I don't really want to be cutting blue cards. We could cut the Force, but they have 4th Air Lingus. That just can't be right. I want all the stuff that deals with their artifacts if they're playing balance stuff. I do think we still need to keep Path and Winds of Abandon, even though they're kind of awkward. Man, tough to figure out the last cuts here. Maybe Overlord, but it's so good. But it's also pretty expensive, and we need to cut something. Like, I think we can go over the top of them without having that. One more cut. I don't think it's Virtue of Loyalty. This card is pretty good in the stack. All the 1s look good. All the 2s look good. Maybe we don't play the Lion Sash. Yeah, I'll cut the Lion Sash, I guess, and run it like this. I think Ghost Vacuum is slightly better as a piece of graveyard hate. It's harder for them to deal with, better against Balance, and also just, like, kind of game ending if the game goes long, which it likely will. Okay, we can keep this hand. I wish I had card advantage to find the Spellseeker, but Time Walk, of course, is good, too. Gonna grab the Triome here, or the Esper Light Fiend's Tower. Ocelot Pride. Okay, that is pretty bad against a Johnny. They have the second best cat ever, but we have the best cat ever. Ooh. Hmm. So this is interesting. If we snuff, like if we play the staff, we need to snuff out the cat. That's fine. I want to get the staff down first before the Ajani to draw the extra card. Maybe it's just fine to play the Ajani though. Yeah, you know what? Let's play the Ajani. I want to save the snuff out for something better. And like this is a little awkward with the staff. Like we're not going to get a counter that we could have gotten, but I think we still will get a counter. The staff will still draw cards. Like I don't think. Yeah, it's an interesting trade off for sure. But this develops the board better and lets us save snuff out for something better. If they kill our Ajani, then we can snuff this out, or we could even snuff out our own token. Weirdly, but I mean, I guess we wouldn't want to do that here. But that is a line that is available to us potentially. Tarfire the Ajani. Okay. Okay, now I guess we do still end up snuffing out this token, which is fine. If they have Mana Tithe, that would be minorly annoying. That's like a fine exchange for us, though. Now we'll go Plains, Staff. Generally, you don't want to be snuffing out a 1-drop, but Ocelot Pride just generates a ton of value. I don't want them to be making any tokens, especially when they have multiple Monarch cards. Like, just having a few bodies in play to deal combat damage is a big deal. Okay, Fable is kind of annoying. Path is a pretty bad draw. I think I'm honestly just going to put this on top. I'm not super confident in this play, but I don't want them to be making treasure tokens. And we'll play this tapped and hit for 3. Then we have Spellseeker for Time Walk next turn, but I would kind of rather get better value than that off of this Time Walk. Like hopefully we can find Glimmerland or Lingering Soul, or like something to like make tokens and draw cards and like have the ball really be rolling. Like if we just play Spellseeker, Time Walk, then attack with it for 4, like that's not that exciting. If they have Palace Jailer, then that would be a good situation for us to go for it. Ooh. Do they have the other card? No, they don't. Okay, it's tempting to path this end of turn. And I think we actually do need to do it. Doesn't feel great. Untap, draw Force of Negation. Not a very good one. I think I'm just gonna pass and hold up Force of Negation though. Like, I don't want to tip my hand on the spell on the Time Walk thing. Like our hope is to find a turn where we can like, you know, I mean they're down to 12. Like we could get a sort of cheesy win potentially if they're not expecting it. Happy to see them have another mountain, and now they play big 4th Aer Lingus, and we Force of Negation it. They concede. That's crazy. All we had was that is a very early concession, especially in the finals. Like they're 2-0, fighting for the trophy, but I'll take it. Ugin is a weird card for them to be playing, so they're going a little bit bigger than I realized. Any changes we want to make? I think I still want to keep the Ghost Vacuum. I think we're just going to run it like this. I feel more confident playing Ugin, or Force of Negation, now that I know they're also playing stuff like Ugin. Okay, good hand. The tapped land is a little awkward, but still a keep for sure. Really hoping for no Mox. This is sort of hand where, like, if they don't have a Mox, then I think we're in great shape, but if they can just go, like, land Mox 2-drop on turn 1, it's really bad. Come on. That's pretty devastating. I think I am going to prioritize getting the Giver of Runes down over holding up Mana Tithe here. It's kind of close. But yeah, turn one Jackrabbit is pretty rough when they're on the. If we were on the play, we could have Manatied it. It would have been fine. But now it's gonna be a really hard game to win. Probably next turn we're just gonna play Colonnade and hold up Manatide, Cosmic Gun Zenith. Okay. Yep. Definitely gonna be a tough one to win. Just being on the draw against landmarks is so hard. Pass turn. Really don't want to be ramping them with this Path to Exile if we can avoid it. No, best case scenario, they tap out for a 4-drop here. Fourth air Lingus for 1, so they do play around the Mana Tithe. Jeez. See if they put counters on their creatures. Okay, they do put counters on their creatures. I'll tide this. But I still don't think it's going to be almost impossible to win this game now. They put counters on everything. They attack with Jackrabbit, which is going to make 2 blockers. The only way we could win is if we somehow get up to overloading Winds of Abandon, which I don't think is going to be possible. Attack with all this, we take an insane. Yeah, it is just too much for turn 3. We had a great draw again. If they didn't have a Mox, or if we were on the play, I think this is a pretty easy game to win. But as is, I think it's over. I won't quite concede yet. We can Skyclave Apparition to take out their Zenith. We have Giver of Runes. If they play no spells for the rest of the game, I think we could win. But even that would be kind of hard. And they're going to probably play spells, especially because they're the Monarch and drawing 2 cards a turn. Yeah. Man, too bad. Well, wait, do they have us? They're just equipping. Okay, yeah, I'll definitely concede that. Tough match. I mean, yeah, we just lost the 2 games where they were on the play with the Mox, and we won the game where that was not the case. And I think that's pretty much how that is going to go usually. Like, maybe if we had time walked, we could fight the Mox. So we played. Did we play Boros all 3 matches? That's kind of crazy. Good deck for sure, and a winning record. I would have loved to have gotten the trophy, of course. Not really any clear problems with the deck. I mean, I guess having a bit more cheap interaction would be good, but like we had multiple pieces. You know, we had 2 1-mana instant speed interactive pieces of that game, and that still wasn't enough. Really, the way to combat that sort of start is to have our own Mox. You can't always get that, but still, pretty sweet league. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.